Shout out Big Steve.
What's up? What's up? Early tease for UFC Edmonton, Moreno versus Albazi, and some regionals this week. We will look at the odds. We'll see if we have some good pre-tape leans, and we will recap last week or yesterday's results. Right? Let's get straight into that. See if we made any money, where we're at for the month, for the year, and then see what we can make out of this week's regional and UFC MMA action. Right? So regional action from last week, not much. This LFA card. We had this and Aries. I didn't have any plays on Aries. I just taped my Serbian boy that won against the Russian. LFA, I was going to play Shiro and a bunch of other things, just passed. So let's get straight into UFC, right? Not waste any more time. So the first fight, Renato Facurino, Carlos Leal. I started off with a bet. I had like 1.5 units, which was quite a lot for a $3.20 underdog. I retaped it. You do all the work, and there's a lot of noise for every pay-per-view. I posted something on Twitter, and for some reason, every pay-per-view, I get a lot of casuals, a lot of weirdos. Like half the people weren't even following me. And they're just like, oh, Renat, how does this not look value? And everyone is like, oh, Renat, he's going to 30-27 and blah, blah, blah. And so much noise, and you still stick to your guns. And, Leal gets out there, wins round 1, clear. You can give Renat round 2, and then round 3 again, clear for Carlos Leal. He takes him down. He sambo throws him. He's literally tossing this man around, and then he's out striking him on the feet as well. A couple of calf kicks, a good 1-2. When I heard it wasn't a split decision, I was just cheering on. I was like, yep, great start. Woke up at 1 a.m. in the morning for this. Beautiful. Then horrible robbery. One of the worst ones in a long time. I don't usually get affected at all. But this one reminded me of Lerone Murphy versus Gabriel Santos. I was on Gabriel Santos there, and I'm like, wow, what a great bet I made. He's absolutely rinsing Lerone Murphy. And, I just laughed it off. I was like, whatever. It's in London. It was a split decision. But this one kind of made me feel sick. So, but I quickly got over it. I reduced. I definitely didn't think 1.5 units was responsible on Leal. So, lost like $350. I didn't go all the way down to half a unit, but would have been nice to start with 750 profit. But we move on. Nothing on Noedia versus Bruno Silva fight. I was very close to donating on Silva just because Noedia not really impressive, but dodged the bullet there. I played some Farid and 2 takedowns at minus 200. Really small stake, like $300 to win 115. It was last minute. I actually regretted it. No takedowns until about 4 in round 3. So, reduced the damage there, $115. Kennedy, Barnett, I regret this one. I was like, there's got to be a lock here somewhere. But I was like, I hate trusting Kennedy to make it under 1.5 rounds. And look, Chris Barnett injured himself from the get-go, and Kennedy almost took him to round 2. I think if Barnett wasn't injured, probably would have made it. But yeah, still, like $100 down. Abus Magomedov, Bruno Ferreira. So I've dodged a bunch of red flags or traps, and I was like, I'm passing on this fight. I want to fade the public. I want to play this under, but I'm scared of the totals. If Abus is winning, you just know he's going to weasel and go over, even though he can knock out Ferreira. And I'm like, you know what? I have to stick to my guns. Bruno Ferreira, a guy that hasn't been once over 1.5 rounds, and now we're getting plus money on his under against someone like Abus. It's been knocked out before, and he's shown chin issues. I have to play it. I played like half a unit on the under, and the fight starts. Just Bruno does nothing in round 1. I was like, sick. But I actually had a feeling that he might knock him out early round 2, which is why I played the under instead of round 1s. And then he goes hard in round 1, hurts him 30 seconds before the under, and then throws a kick, and Abus dives into it, but doesn't get knocked out, gets the single. Bruno even goes for a guillotine, which is great. I'm like, yeah, that's gone over now. And then round 2, when he got up, I'm like, I just had this feeling like Bruno was going to knock him out in round 3, so I paid like $150 on Bruno live, and it really looked like he was going to knock him out, especially when he got up again for the second takedown, but wasn't to be. Very popular community dog, cashed. Was there value? Kind of looked like it, but yeah, I don't know. Probably should have passed that one too. But yeah, I added like another $300 and something to my Leal negative. profits. Rebecca or Albazi, this is where all went wrong. I was passing on this fight, and then after round 1, I thought Albazi might have stolen it when he dropped Rebecca. I did not see that his eye was messed up. His eye was completely messed up, and and I just lied bet it. He went up to minus 200, and I'm like, yeah, Albazi is going to cook him. He looks way better than Brenner. I thought he was compromised against Elvis Brenner. He looks way better. He's swinging down. Surely Rebecca's going to slow down. I bet $600 to win 300 live at minus 200. Round 2 starts. Albazi's cooking him. I'm like, man, this guy's an absolute mutant. Cuts up Rebecca. I'm like, all good. Round 3 should be his as well. And then Rebecca obviously knocks him out. Props to him. Props to everyone that play that underdog shot. Then Jeff Neal starts. So yeah, I felt really bad about that live bet, $600. Then Jeff Neal starts. I play $750 on his money line. I didn't understand the money coming on Dos Anjos the whole week. Like, this was a 40-year-old Dos Anjos moving up in weight against Jeff Neal, who's out there hurting and stunning shove cut Romanov, knocking out Luque before it was cool. So I won like $300 something there, so a little bit of a bounce back. And then, Rafael Sequeira, he was my other money line play. I had 2 units, as everyone knew, weeks ago. A lot of CLV, and I reduced because a lot of questions. I didn't know if we could handle Ibo Arslan's hardware, the pure power and durability. But I did think he was a more technical fighter and, more fluid, more well-rounded. Obviously has that black belt that he didn't use. Yeah, comes out and just gets knocked out straight away. Gets his leg kick counted and just knocked out against the cage. So that was great. So that put me in like a decent little hole. So I was like, oh, what do I do now? I would love to go to sleep because I had a big night and it was 1 a.m. But I was like, nah, let's dig ourselves out of a hole. So I put $1,000 on Shara Magomedov over 2.5 rounds. A lot of people were saying play his decision. Luckily, I didn't donate to that. But yeah, I thought that was cruising. Minus 200. It went up to. I don't really have regrets with that bet. I think if it went to round 3, it would have gone over. But yeah, beautiful spinning elbows. So another $1,000 there. Nothing on Lerone Murphy, Dan Ige. I was 2 seconds away from live betting Ige. But then the fact that Lerone threw up that triangle in round 3 scared me away. And then I couldn't live bet. And thank God, because I would have been so tilted that Dan Ige lost that fight. Nothing on Magomed Rakic. I thought Rakic was extremely slim margins. Props to him for actually winning round 1 unanimously in Abu Dhabi on all the judges' scorecards. That was strange. I ended up putting a whole unit on Kamzat when the line increased. I thought it was a no-brainer. And then, I played some stupid stuff. I played Kamzat round 2 sub. I was trying to be cheeky. Only $25. So donate a little bit there. And then I played same thing with Ilya, round 2 KO. Like $75 to win 400 and something. And then I live bet Topuria $500 at Pick'em halfway through round 2. I did not understand that line. I thought he was lighting up Max. I thought he was lighting up his calf. People on Discord were saying this is a close fight. I don't know. I just thought, no, this is slim margins for Max. And then after I live bet him, he went up to plus money. And I that's my biggest regret, not putting another unit on it. It felt like a DDP versus Strickland live bet or DDP versus Adesanya. There's been a lot of great live bets in main events that I've been capitalizing on. And that would have been a great way to make some money back. So I regret that one. I regret that one a lot. But yeah, after, more than 2,000 down, and then, Kamzat and Ilya live bet got me down to 1,600 down. Not bad. More than 3 units. Kind of sucks. I was 2,000 in the profit. Now I'm, I ended up 400 profit for October. So now we're 19,000 something. I was 20,000. 22,000 over. Now I'm down to 19. I just keep going over and under 20k. I was going to be over 20k a lot if Tyra won. So yeah, whatever. I'm just keep doing this thing. End this year on the positive. We've got another 2 months. The goal now is to try to get to 20 units, which is like a respectable number. Increase the bankroll and have some fun and just learn from all these mistakes. But I'll be honest, it's quite hard this year, man. It's quite hard. Like, you even make a great bet like Carlos Leal, and I can't complain. I'm not really on these really, really bad decisions, these robberies. I think it's maybe because I usually stay away from, slim margin underdogs. But that one was rough, man. That one was, 30-27. I had Leal winning 30-27. So as my boy George says, is this the Carlos Leal support group chat? It is. Let it out. But it just sucks. But what can you do? This whole year is a learning experience, and I'll just be happy to be 20, 30,000 up, 20 units up, something. It's respectable. Moise Audio teasing me again. I sure am. Sure am. Jake, thanks for listening, my friend. Aussie Fight Fan, let's go. I know you appreciate a Sunday night podcast. How good is this time, Aussie Fight Fan? Whitaker getting his teeth pushed in made me sad. Tapuria under 3.5 made me poor. Does that mean you played the over? I really like the over, but initially, yeah, I like the KO on the early tees, but the line was so crap. So I'm like, maybe I should just play the over. But there was a lot of noise this pay per view. You have to like really cut out the noise. Eremice Soundbake, you didn't lie bet Renat at plus 600 or 700. Look, I'm all for hedging. I'm a quite safe, profit over anything kind of guy. But I love the bet so much. I thought it was a clear round one for Leal, and I knew that it was going to slow it down. But then when I saw how round two played out, I was like, okay, maybe you can edge it to Renat. And I was like, let's say 1-1. But I was really 1 minute into round three. I was like, yeah, Leal's going to beat the crap out of him in round three again, which he did. So I don't really hedge if, it's going to 30-27, or 29-28. So I used to do it before, and I realized that I'm giving up a lot of my profits by being way too safe. So these days I just let it ride, and whatever happens, happens. I need to maximize my profit. But yeah, I don't have a regret in hedging. Sure, in hindsight, you can say, could be the worst robbery ever, but it could always be the worst robbery ever. What are the odds that that's happening every single fight? So no, I did not hedge, BJ Penn, but it's good to talk to you, mate. I don't think you've been in here for a while. All right, what the hell is with my thing? Trying to adjust my. There we go. That's a bit better. Aussie Fight Fan, you were big on the over 3.5. I get it, mate. I get it. You're basically just fading Tapuria Care, but yeah. I also thought he was going to be the first one to do it, so I kind of talked myself out of it. He won clearly. What do you think is the Leal coming event? Well, if you can be patient for a couple of more seconds, we'll get into it. George, it never occurred to me, even considering live betting Renat, he was always losing. Correct, man. I mean, 30-27 actually made sense. Anyway, so in terms of that, I always do my regrets and what I'm happy with. So I'm happy with the Leal pick because I was really mulling it over. Happy I passed on some of these red flags like Ismail. Not many others. Happy I went on comes up. And then the regrets, the biggest regret is live betting oral buy, even though, he probably could have won round three and stole it. But donating to their boost fight, both live betting and the under 1.5. And yeah, the biggest one is not adding another unit on Ilia Topuria in between rounds. On Pinnacle, that would have been a nice bet. And yeah, maybe playing comes up round two sub instead of round one sub. Yeah, other than that, what can we do? We move on. I don't really have regrets about Sequeira because, my read was wrong. So that's fine. I beat the line by 30 cents. Stab in the dark. But Urslan's time is coming. Alrighty. Let's get into this card. 14 fights. Not bad. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about regionals this week because there's no odds. So I realized that was kind of a waste of time last time. If I do this later in the week, I'll talk about odds. But let's get straight into the UFC then, right? Jack Shaw uses Zalal. So Mr. Eremice or BJ Penn. I have 3 units on Zalal, and this was a pre-tape. I know Jack Shaw well. I think I played him in every single, almost either played him or faded him in every single fight. So I played him against all these bums, Nolan Hernandez and Phillips, and I actually played him against Azur as well, and I was a bit lucky to get that decision. Played him against Shaolian. For sure, he was injured, and he still won that. Played him against Timo Valiev at Pick'em. Faded him against Ricky Simone. Played the over 1.5 against Marquand, and then played Joe Anderson Brito against him at Chalk. And I regret not playing, $4,000 on him there. That was closest I was for 2 units around that time. Yeah, but I feel like Zalal has leveled up. I've been saying this when he came back against Old Mate in his debut against Billy Q. And, he was a popular, Aarons was a popular dog when the line just got out of hand. And I'm glad I dodged that bullet. He's a complete different Zalal. He's gone from being a decision merchant. He's always been durable, always had cardio. always had good striking. Now he has power. He rips the body. He's got finishing instincts on the feet and on the ground. Like his rear naked choke seems to have leveled up a lot. He's only 28 years of age, but he's had so many fights in the UFC. Fought Tapuria. So I just thought without any tape, I'm like, yeah, $1.40. I'll just lock it in and think about it later. I got to take advantage of this juice when I'm confident. It's a bit easier with $500 units. But yeah, I don't know. Now, upon taping it, it's like maybe it's a bit slim margins because Jack Shaw is a good grappler, and I don't think Yusuf Zalal will run through him just like he ran through Gino Aarons, who's known, he's been submitted a bunch and bad takedown defense. And Jack Shaw also has that technical striking, just like Zalal. Maybe he can compete on the feet, but yeah, 3 units. I don't know if there's any value. I'll have to go deep. Obviously, a couple of fights, and I was like, okay. But Jack Shaw, I don't think he's the same guy at featherweight. He's just another one of these soy cage warriors guys. The athleticism is Shaw's Achilles heel. It sure is. But Zalal has never been that overly athletic. But all right, let's move on. Jamie Lee Horth versus Ivana Petric. Wild line. I know some people have laid the chalk on Lynn Horth, even at minus 200. And, I know Ivana well. I think I taped her so much to just see what kind of lock I could play against Na Liang. I think everyone was on the 2-3 there. I think I just played the inside the distance just to be safe and played it biggish. But yeah, I mean, Jamie Lee Horth is not that good. Like she needs to work her way into the fight, and so does Ivana. So yeah, I mean, I quickly moved on from this fight because yeah, if I'm interested, I'm gonna have to go a bit deeper. And yeah, I don't want to waste my time on that fight. Beginning of the week. Alrighty. Let me just line up some of these tabs and then we'll go through the comments, eh? Moyes. Horth game works best at 135. Even is going to outpace her. Yeah, well, even is really good at coming on, to be honest, but so does Horth. Horth has a bunch of round 3 finishes. So they have a lot of similarities, and I don't feel comfortable playing a girl that, can often lose round 1 because she needs to warm up, So pass for now. Alrighty. But I got another bet. Another chalky bet. Chad Allenhanger versus Cody Gibson. I have 3 units on Gibson. I didn't quite get the pick'em line. I got the $1.72, which is what, like 70%, 60%. I think that's a bit generous. It could be a bit better. I think this is a bit of a levels fight. Cody Gibson, I do agree that he's a bit washed. He looks a bit shop worn. I didn't fade Katona with him just because of that, and I live bet Katona instead. And that was a competitive fight. Competitive round 1, Katona stole it at the end. Competitive round 2, and I think it was 1-1 going into the third on 2 judges' scorecards. And extremely competitive 3 that Gibson was winning until Brad Katona broke his orbital at the end. So just very, very close fight. And we see Katona, going life and death with Matsumoto, a great fighter, underrated. Miles John, again, just very underrated fighter. People always want to fade him, but he can win fights. And then ran through Brian Kelleher, handled him how he should have handled him. He's got a bunch of knockouts, a bunch of round 1 submissions. I think he's live to run through Chad and Hellinger here if he wanted to. They're both 37, so they're both just as washed. I laid the chalk on Jose Johnson against him, and Jose has bad striking defense, and he can be taken down. And, even with all those massive glaring holes, he was still winning 30-27 and managed to finish Chad at the end. I think Chad hit like 5 takedowns on him, but he just kept getting reversed. Getting like 30-27 and almost finished the bunch by, Alatang Ali, also a red flag. He was losing the Jesse Strader fight. Then he turned it around. Muin Gaffarov trained for like 3 days for that fight and had COVID. Lucky to win a split. And this is the worst of it all. Gregorio fight. He was losing the first 7.5 minutes until Gregorio gassed. And Gregorio is the worst cardio ever. So, yeah, I think this is Cody Gibson's fight to lose. Like, he's been submitted a bunch. Maybe he will jump in the guillotine. If this goes to round 3, it could be a little bit sweaty if it's not 2-0 Gibson. But yeah, so far 3 units. I'll go deeper later in the week, see if I need to reduce. But hoping for Cody kind of just to run through him and not do something stupid. Alrighty. Surrey City. Garrett Armfield. Good fight. Good fight. I know some people already playing Garrett Armfield. It's an interesting line. I don't know why City is such a decent sized favorite. So this is definitely one that I'm going to look into first. Gareth, lost to Brady high stand. He almost submitted him, dropped him a bunch of times in round 2, which, I mean, everyone does to high stand. Beat Katona, which might be a robbery, but still impressive. Yeah, this guy's very dangerous on the feet. And City's not too bad. He's kind of like a builder, great cardio, and he just keeps coming forward. But not the best defense. It's kind of like a Terminator. And he got dropped a lot by Ramon Tavares. So yeah, I don't understand this line. Like, Gareth can light him up early if he doesn't improve his defense. Obviously, City has the cardio upside, but so did Katona, and he just squeaked that out. He won round 1 and 3, and yeah, I mean, if you have enough cardio just to squeak it out, then it should be enough. So this is definitely the first one of the first ones I will tackle in terms of deep tape, but we'll see. City from my notes is always kind of like a live bet kind of guy, and that might be the case here again, just because Garrett starts off so well. All right. Aussie Fight Fan is also in Cody Gibson. Let's go. Hopefully this is not the mush of the week. Hopefully it's not. George, Canadian MMA is trending down. Well, we'll see. Let me know about the next fight. Great fight. Alrighty. What do we got next? Alexander Romanov, Rodrigo Nascimento. So this one's interesting. Rodrigo Nascimento is just not that guy, in my opinion. He's got advantages. He's quite skilled, but I do think he's chinny, and I do think he's extremely, extremely unathletic. He's built like a tub of milk. Romanov's the opposite, a mammoth of a man, really athletic for a big guy. Swings kicks up there, really brutal kicks, obviously body slamming people. Quite explosive too. So, I mean, he fought quite well against Blagoy, even though if he fights like that, he can probably beat Nascimento. But Nascimento has the better hands, technique-wise. There's a lot of similarities. The Latifi fight, Latifi took him down. He couldn't get up, but then he still beat Latifi. But Latifi is extremely negative and always on the back foot. Romanov is just live to quit. Looking at wiki capping this fight now. Yeah. I watched the last fight, and again, another fight where I regret not having 2 units on Derrick Lewis against Nascimento, because I had a good read on that fight. Derrick Lewis was throwing around Nascimento with some trips. So, at dog or pass, it's going to have to be Romanov for me. But this kind of screams like a pass fight to me, honestly. Nascimento, for all his flaws, actually does have heart. So you could probably live bet him. I'd rather live bet him, actually. He always loses round 1. Almost got knocked out by Pedro in round 1. So, yeah. Nascimento live or pass, and Romanov pre. Look to get out. Manny R. Minus 250 on Jalton was a gift against Romanov. It sure was, man. I had like Jalton round 1 takedown at like same price, minus 2 something. And then, Jalton money line. And I was like, I should have just destroyed it. I should have lost my account and maxed everything there. But that bookie now, Neds in Australia, Aussie Fight Fan will know about it. Their takedown props are horrible now. Comes up round 1 takedown was $10. But yeah, for that fight, I always go on Neds and look at like the best, most obvious round 1 takedown props and just take advantage of that. All right, Charles Johnson versus Victor Henry. Pick 'em fight. I don't know pre-tape if I'm going to have any sort of leans. I hate betting on Charles Johnson. He's so untrustworthy. No real method to his madness. Just explosive and athletic, and he throws a lot, and he's tough and he's durable. Faded him against my boy Jane Silva last time. Got a lot of CLV. He was a popular dog. Community bet. Always love fading the community mush. But yeah, I would rather play Henry. I know Henry's 37, but he's got good volume. He's got good IQ, good cardio, trustworthy. Can he get bonked? Maybe he's quite durable. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this kind of screams pick him at first glance. Just having a look, wiki capping a little bit. He's definitely not going to guillotine Victor Henry. Henry is a bit hittable himself, so this could just be a war that I do not want to touch whatsoever. 6-ounce thinks Henry. Moise thinks Jourdain will have no speed advantage. Wait, this is 135. What's 135? That's bantamweight. Is he dropping down or? Yes, I agree. 6-ounce, really reliable guy. But the thing is, Jourdain is a bit of volatility. Ariana Lipsky, Jasmine just vicious. So I know sharps on both sides of the coin for this one. And, Ariana Lipsky, she's been a money train. I actually did better against JJ, so that's sad by me. But I was on on her against Gato, and I was definitely on her against Casey O'Neill, and she was a decent sized underdog, and the line just kept improving. And all my friends, all the cappers were on Casey O'Neill, but her line just kept going up and up. So that was a strange one for pay-per-view. But yeah, we saw against Karine Silva, finally someone took her down, and she still has the same flaws. So we know what Jasmine's going to do. She's going to come out there. She's going to plot into range. She's going to be hittable. She's going to have no defense, and she's going to try and take down. But I think Jasmine has shown that she's improved quite a bit. She's 35, though. She can definitely get bonked by Ariane. This is one of those ones that... This reminds me of the Montana De La Rosa, Ariana Lipsky fight. De La Rosa's getting lit up, maybe bloodied up, same with Jasmine. And then once Jasmine gets on top, it's all downhill for Ariana Lipsky. I don't know if it'll look like that because, Ariane has improved as well herself. Or maybe she hasn't. Maybe we just haven't seen her really get flattened out on her back. Even when Gato took her down, she stood up. So I need to go a bit deeper on this one. I don't think I'm rushing to play Jasmine at that extreme chalk. Alrighty, I'm in Zahabi versus Pedro Munhoz. Wow, what a fight. This screams extremely slim margins, right? Zahabi, almost no volume, but he's very, very selective and very accurate. And on the other side, Pedro Munhoz, lots of volume, but is super hittable, absolute punching bag. One of the best guys to fade. So I don't know what to make of this fight. This is probably going to be a really juiced over 2.5 rounds. And yeah, this is going to be a shit show. But I have this little sneaking suspicion that there might be some value in one of these guys. We'll have to go deep. Maybe Zahabi can't handle the calf kicks. We'll see. Let's see what 6-ounce thinks. Recency bias. Zahabi wins a razor-thin decision as a plus 500 against a guy who's notorious for not separating. Who's that? Joey Basharat? I don't know. Basharat, I think Basharat's pretty good at separating, man. He's really good at winning like 30-27s. But yeah, that's Basharat dropped the ball there badly. He just kept walking into overhand rights. Very emotional, very embarrassing performance. Munhoz time is done. Zahabi wants it more. I mean, who knows who wants it more? 36 and 38-year-old part-timers now. Alrighty. Mike Malott, Trevon Giles. So he's not in here, but my boy Parky, one of the great bettors from Scotland. He loves his underdogs, and true to his word, the man has locked in Trevon Giles. Right? This is just... I get wanting to fade Malott because he's proven to be a fraud, but he was also rinsing Neil Magny until he gassed him round 3. So I love fading Magny, right? He will 9 out of 10 times he will lose to a prospect that the UFC is setting him up to lose to. Literally, he loves getting submitted. He loves getting guillotined. So I get why Mike Malott is the favorite. I get also why people are fading him. Trevon Giles is very fluid on the feet. You can probably drop him. But yeah, this is volatility. Volatility personified. Giles just can't put 15 minutes together to win a fight. Even when he's beating Louis Koske, that was extremely dull fight. And as soon as Koske committed to the wrestling in round 3, he actually took him down easily. And they were just staring at each other before then. And the Preston Parsons fight was one of the biggest messes. I thought it had a shout for 30-27. But yeah, this is just volatile fight. Malott's hittable and Trevon Giles is too. And we'll see what the under is. Probably minus 200 or something. Something retarded. All right. MAB, Dustin Stolfitz. Now, I'm not a Dustin Stolfitz fan, but the man is a decent-sized dog to MAB. MAB at minus 200 doesn't really make sense to me. I'm also not a fan of MAB. I actually don't like this guy at all. Plotting punching bag. I think he surprised a lot of people against Chris Curtis. I think that might have been more Chris Curtis letting everyone down as a decent-sized favorite than anything. Not really covering his line, I should say. And then, got knocked out by Joe Pfeiffer. I regret that. I said the under 1.5 was good value on the early tees for that show, and I didn't end up playing it. So, shit happens. But yeah, he dropped Eryk Anders as well. He beat Eryk Anders. He surprised against Chris Curtis. So I think there's some recency bias there. Knocked out Julian Marquez. So I get it, but I mean, mine is 200. But Dustin also at the same time, he's one of the worst guys to ever do it. I mean, look at his wins. Barely beat Dwight Grant. Punahele Soriara. That was an epic stunt. Knocked out by Bruno. Knocked out by Abus in like 10 seconds. I remember I smashed Abus there, $1.40, $1.45. Not knowing how much of a flake Abus is. But yeah, just gave up a submission to Gerald. Yeah, this is a clear dogger pass. Don't want to ramble on in circles. Clear dogger pass. Tape will have to be done. But I hate both these dudes. Kai Machado, Brenson Ribeiro. I will say this card is ridiculous. Some of these fights are just some of the funniest fighters you'll ever see. Kai Machado dropping down to light heavyweight. If he can make it, good on him. That's probably his proper weight class. This is a light heavyweight, right? I'm not getting this wrong. Brenson's not moving up to heavyweight. Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, what to make of this fight? Who's the favorite here? It's got to be Ribeiro, right? Six sound. I wouldn't say they're ruining the UFC, but I think the UFC is ruining it themselves actively. Like they're happy to take these bums in, get rid of the other people, and sign these bums for like 10 or 12 to win, 12 to show up. And yeah, it's obviously they're trying to turn around as many events, as many cheap fighters. So I get it. As long as they turn it around and go back to what UFC used to be, because it's drastically dropping in quality. And a lot of fights are boring and a lot of fights are not interesting to watch. That's what happens when you have a lot of bum fighters on the roster. Let me just put on my odds. Cody Gibson. Wow, Machado is a decent-sized favorite. And Jesus. This is a man that was dropped multiple times. Dropped multiple times by Dontel Mays and almost knocked out. I played the over there. I was sweating bullets. I just thought both were durable. But now he's fighting Brenson Ribeiro, and Brenson Ribeiro is like the worst time they could do it. One of the worst guys who could do it. I remember when he hurt Magomed Gaziasulov's leg from a calf kick, I was just like lie bet him as a dog ASAP, and then just the dude proceeded to get wrestled for rounds 2 and 3, and I was like, why is this guy in the UFC? And why am I getting tempted to bet on these bums? Like, just unbelievable. So, yeah, this is a dogger pass. I think Brenson can actually knock out Machado. Maybe the under 1.5 would be good here. Maybe the under could be good here. All right, let's move on. Derrick Lewis versus Jonathan Denise. Yeah, I mean, volatile fight. Denise is a slight favorite. I guess I get it. Derrick Lewis is 39 years of age. He and Jonathan Denise, glory kickboxer. I don't think Derrick will try to wrestle him, but he might. Derrick actually goes for takedowns. But I get why he's the favorite. I would say he has an iron chin. Obviously the cleaner striker, but who knows, man? Playing chalk against another striker, against the old Derrick Lewis, the mythical Derrick Lewis, could be issues. Could be issues. That's an interesting one. I think the under could be a bit of a trap there. That's just my first thoughts. Alrighty. Let's look at some of the comments. Billy Breeze. Billy Breeze, why is that name familiar? Do you have a YouTube channel, Billy Breeze? Morning time here in the States. Good. Love the content. Keep the greasy narratives theories going. Thanks for listening, Billy Briz. It's nighttime in Australia. I thought I might be a bit more lively, you know, in the morning without coffee. It's a bit hard, but yeah, trying something different. 6 hour Denise is a fraud. I don't know if he's a fraud. He's quite good. He is a turtle, but he'll improve. Black Beast by flying knee. Lewis takes Denise down and the fraud is fucked. That's the thing. Maybe he can take him down. Rose Namajunas versus Aaron Blanchfield. So I haven't looked into this one. Like doing a little quickie wiki cap. Obviously, I played Manon Fiore against Aaron Blanchfield. I did not expect it to be a 5-0 shutdown. I thought there would be some sweaty moments in rounds 4 and 5, but yeah, Aaron. I'm finally glad that the fade came through. There's these people that I keep trying to fade, Sabatini and Fluffy and Aaron, and some of them have worked out, some of them haven't, but eventually all my reads come to fruition. So the fade was good with Manon Fiore as a decent size underdog. But this one, man, I know a lot of people fading Rose with Tracy Cortez. Aaron is a lot harder matchup, so I'm definitely leaning Aaron here. Pre-tape, why can't Aaron put on a wrestling clinic? I know she's obviously not physical. Yeah, definitely Aaron will pass, man. What are the odds? Okay. Aaron is a bit of a favorite now. Maybe it's trending towards that way. We'll see. But pre-tape, Aaron for sure. I might have to dig into that one ASAP. Not today, but another time. All right, main event. I'm not really interested in this fight. Like, I don't mind flyweight main events as long as they're not Brandon Royval. And I don't know how I feel about this fight. Brandon Moreno extremely underwhelming against Royval. He wanted to take a break, and I don't know if he's got his passion back. Amir Albazi is always extremely boring, so this could be a snoozer, man. Like, I don't really like these guys from personality or a fighting style perspective. But yeah, Brandon Moreno is a slight favorite. That's interesting because I do rate Albazi's skill set. I think he's underrated. Split decision to Kai Kara France, but whatever, competitive fight. I think obviously Kai Kara is better than people give him credit to. This it's a dog will pass just because how does Brandon Moreno cover this line? He can be taken down, he can be hit. He's got that Mexican defense. Obviously, he's quite durable. He looked like he had HIV against Brandon Royval. Couldn't get barely any takedowns, but in hindsight, neither could Tyra recently. So maybe Royval has finally improved that takedown defense. Yeah, dog a pass. I don't have strong reads. This kind of fight. This is like a fight that I'm not really interested in until I have no choice but to tape it at the end. All right, let's see what we have. Moreno all day. What's the read, mate? What's the read? Albazi live dog with how regressed Moreno looked recently. Albazi win equity. Muhammad Hadi Ali as the third judge. It seems like a lot of people are salty because they might have had money on Kai Kara France. That's the feeling that I get here. Moreno comes back with that dog in him. Probably. Who knows? A lot of speculative things to think about. But yeah, a little overview. I do have 2 bets. I got a bunch of units on Zalal. I'll have to reevaluate that, honestly. After a little bit of tape, I'm already kind of getting cold feet. Horth, Petrovic, a dog or pass. I got 3 units on Gibson at a better line. We'll see how we go. I like Armfield, dog or pass. It's clear dog or pass. Nascimento, Romanov. It's got to be Romanov pre and then Nascimento live. Pass on the Henry Jourdain for now. Pass on Jasmine Lipsky. Maybe Lipsky KO, sprinkle it. Or the under. The under will be good here. We'll see what that's paying. Zahabi Munhoz screams a pass at Pickham. Mike Malott, Trevon Giles screams an under of some sort. Barriol, Stolfers, dog a pass. Ribeiro, dog a pass. Denise Lewis, yeah, maybe dog a pass. Aaron, I'm thinking Aaron is a play. So usually my early tease leans have been good. So these are the fights I'm going to focus on ASAP. Many are. I think Malott is a lock. He could be, man. He could be, but he does love to get dropped. He does have some issues, but he should submit Giles. He should run through him. This is like it's an idiot. Fighting Giles is like, and if you're a prospect, it's usually an idiot test. All right. In terms of regionals, we have ACA, a lot of fights. Again, there's no odds, so what am I going to talk about? Gustanov, this guy's not the greatest. Corner Felipe's, Koronov should be the favorite. Probably be a massive favorite. Dipchia, Abdullaev, Petua versus Godiv. I know Petua. Yeah, Silveira. Silveira should beat this Alexei. Maybe we get a good line because, old wash Brazilian. But this Alexei is not good at all. Chris Honeycutt is back. Ragimov, this guy's from Ryzen. He's pretty good. Erokin. Yeah, some good names. Some good names here. But no odds, so what is there to say? Cage Warriors, this is going to be a huge card. Again, no odds. Don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Couple of bets on the early tees, so you get something out of it. What's this? 6 count. Godiev is only minus 165. I guess you have odds, mate, but I assume you're in one of the other European bookies or something because it's not on Bet Online. Wow, Jasmine Juice the Vicious has been steamed, and Pedro Munhoz is slight favorite. My bad, guys. I wasn't aware of these updated odds. Yeah, Aaron is definitely moving. I'm gonna have to lock in on tape Aaron ASAP. What else? Zalal. Garrett Armfield's moving too. Now I'm actually kind of bullish on Asakura. I think he can knock out Pantoja. He can be the first guy to do it. Aussie Fight Fan. What book do you use for ACA? Only Bet Online, my friend. Only Bet Online. No one. I don't know any other book that has it other than Bet Online for us. Anyway. Alrighty, that's it. Well, seems like a potentially good card. Let me just. I'll go have. Well, cool. Fun bet. 6 Hound. What the hell is fun bet? What country you in? 6 Hound. Alrighty. Well, that's it. Thanks again for listening, lads. I went to check if there was any totals, but yeah, nothing for UFC just yet. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon with an actual podcast, final podcast later in the week. Peace out.